Test, test, test. All right, everybody, we are getting into game, which means that it is time to cut the music down and flip on over to our draft. Tonight, we have got Tiny Dancers versus Jailbait. It's an interesting matchup. I'm curious to see. Jailbait played strong when they came out against us. I'm curious to see what they bring to Tiny Dancers. Maybe they've got a different kind of groove now in the late games of the season. As it stands, Tiny Dancers is 5th in the standings, and we've got Jailbait in 8th, which is just inside the playoffs. There are a couple of teams right under them that are playing also about a half hour from now. So Jailbait is definitely looking to walk away with some wins here to cement their place in the playoffs and get a chance to go for number 1 later on. Meanwhile, Tiny Dancers, of course, a higher seed means better chances of making it themselves. So we'll see how it all plays out. Now we're going to Infernal Shrines. We've got Garrosh. We've got Johanna Band on the side of Jailbait. They're target banning those tanks. Meanwhile, poor Tiny Dancers, slotted with the second ban, has to use it on Ariel, at least one of them. Likely Deathwing as well. So, if you're the second team, you practically don't get bans nowadays. That's the state of affairs we live in, huh? So it's going to be a Muradin ban for their second ban, leaving Deathwing open. So now we will see if Jailbait feels like pulling that Deathwing out. That's 3 tanks banned as well. So really choking them out. What do we have left? We've got Diablo, ETC. There's the ETC. So we've got, and that was first pick, of course, for Jailbait over there. That's going to be a Kael'thas pickup for Tiny Dancers. Mal'Ganis, another strong tank that's still left open at the moment. Let's see what they try to pair alongside that. Lucio. All right. I like it so far. Kael'thas is good shrine clear, good zoning. When everybody's packed in that pit trying to kill those skeletons, he definitely gets a solid amount of value. So now the 2-3 pick coming out for Jailbait. Let's see what they try to go with here. They like to draft themselves some heavy CC. It's going to be a Junkrat Rhaegar. So that's some backline poke, maybe a little bit of mispositioning for Jailbait. And, Rhaegar is just able to jump in there, kind of be an all-around character. One of the few healers that really covers a lot of bases. Not just in the healing side of things, solid wave clear, solid camp clear, does some decent damage if he can sit there and smack on somebody. It's going to be a Leoric ban for the final ban coming out on the side of Tiny Dancers. Then I want to see the Skeleton King, which would thicken up the front line on the side of Jailbait. Well, let's see what their final ban is going to be. Not sure. I think I'd keep choking tanks. I'd get rid of Mal'Ganis here. It's going to be Arthas. Maybe tipping their hand a little bit. That might mean that they are trying to get a... that might mean that they are trying to get a melee DPS, something in there that's going to be a lot of strong auto attacks. Or they just don't want to see Arthas, period, general. Now the 3-4 pick. There's the Mal'Ganis. He was one of 2 good options left available. And a Falstad as well, which I just like in general. I think Falstad is strong. His ability to get around the map. He's got solid damage, sustained damage. He's real flighty, difficult to pin down. So good pickups there. Now the 4-5 pick coming out for Jailbait. And let's see if they shore up the front line somewhat. Ooh, it's going to be a Blaze Sylvanas. So that is some definite front line. They are double tank. Of course, Blaze will be in the off lane, I'd imagine. And Sylvanas, if they can win those shrines, of course, you're going to get big value there. Not that Sylvanas doesn't do enough on her own nowadays. She's got big damage as well. It's going to be an Artanis on the side of Tiny Dancers. All right. So this is what we got shaped up here. So Mal'Ganis is going to go in. He's going to put some folks to sleep. That will set up either swaps or Kael'thas damage. You know, it's on that delay. Other than that, they've got the speed from Lucio to get their team in and out, which Mal'Ganis doesn't need a whole lot of help with, but Artanis certainly does. Meanwhile, on the side of Jailbait, we've got a very big front line that's going to slow everything down and hopefully give time for Sylvanas and Junkrat to set some things up and whatnot. In the meantime, here I am going to close out of Discord so y'all don't have to hear that anymore. Get everything flipped over for the end game. And let's get back into it. So, I'm curious who's going to come out on top here. I'm not sure I want to make any predictions. I do like the amount of front line that you've got on the side of Jailbait, but, you know, if Mal'Ganis is putting one of them to sleep, he's going to put them both to sleep. He's a difficult guy to pin down. However, Artanis, I think, is going to suffer somewhat more. All right, so on the left side of our screen here, we have the team of Tiny Dancers. We got Feldroth on Falstad, Materium playing Kael'thas, Silver, AGAG playing Artanis, Liddell on Mal'Ganis, and Elijah on Lucio. Meanwhile, over here on the side of Jailbait, we've got Kobo on Junkrat, H2O on ETC, Kauthan playing Blaze, Fragstellar playing the Sylvanas, and DB Smiley on the Rhaegar. Let's get some action over here in middle, shall we? We will see how it all plays out. Going ahead, getting some traps in, zoning a bit on the side of Kobo. Tiny Dancer's not showing yet, so Junkrat just kind of poking around, seeing if he can find anybody. Tiny Dancer's has already got Artanis all the way up. Liddell getting, bumped out, but that doesn't mean anything. Stum coming in on the back line, but Materium will be fine. Kauthan takes a little bit of damage, but overall, just both tanks taking a little bit, not a big deal. It is worth noting, though, that they've got ETC in the off lane and Blaze playing main tank, which is, not what I said would happen. Big stun coming out on the back line from Blaze, a little bit of poke coming in on Materium, but the heals are there. Liddell getting booped back into the team by Junkrat, but he's going to Q away. And despite falling, below 10%, he's going to get away tap and he'll be fine. But that is big damage coming out. Meanwhile, we've got Rhaegar up here going ahead, clearing middle lane, getting ahead in that rotation. And Mal'Ganis opted for the full back, so Tiny Dancer's on a back foot in these rotations already. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Artanis sitting down at about the right amount of health where he can proc his passive, which is where you kind of want to be sitting. We've got a little bit of scouting coming out from Kauthan back down here in the bot lane, seeing if they were doing their camp. They were not. However, Jailbait went ahead and got theirs. H2O comes down with a rotation, seeing if they can get anything, but Tiny Dancer's able to fall behind their wall and be fine. So, ETC going back up. Kauthan by himself here in mid lane. I guess just doing a little bit of zoning around that camp, but he's not going to keep it alive for very long. Maybe just also keeping an eye, doing some anchoring. Now we've got Tiny Dancer's coming down, but a big mine comes out onto Liddell, and he's going to take some poke here, but he decided to go ahead and get the engage. He is Mal'Ganis, so doesn't have to worry too much. And just like that, rotations are back to be about even. I would even say Tiny Dancers is a bit ahead now in the rotation. Of course, experience actually in favor of Tiny Dancers. Somewhat slightly, really not the case, though. ETC just hadn't picked up the wave yet, so dead even. Now another camp picked up in the bottom lane, more siege on the side of Jailbait, but you've got Artanis for Tiny Dancers working on that bruiser camp. So this is 3v4 here in bottom. They're going ahead and clearing this camp. Tiny Dancers is. Now we've got Cawthon coming down on Blaze to join up. These things are still alive, and you've got Merc Queen buffing them up. And a lot of poke coming out onto Liddell. He's back down to being pretty low. Feldroth taking a bit of a maybe dangerous rotation, but he's fine. We got 5 in mid on the side of Jailbait, and Artanis held that camp until right when objective started. So here it comes of walking down the lane. Now he's by himself. The rest of his team's behind. A great dodge on the side of Artanis, using his blade dash to get out of ETC stun, and that camp will be neutralized, and we're sitting about even. Got 4 from both sides sitting here on objective. Objective just having been started by Jailbait. They're 5 in. We've got Falstad flying up here. He's going to land in, and I would expect they're going to look for a fight 4v5 while Junkrat is in middle. We've got H2O caught out big time, and he's going to die to the bomb. Tried to get out of there, had a power slide, but he was just too deep in that line. When Falstad flew in, he didn't have a way out. So it's 12-5, 15 now on objective for Tiny Dancers. And you've got ETC coming back up right now, but it's going to have to be kind of a 4v5 engage to push them off the shrine a little bit, unless you just intend to give it. Appreciate it, Arrow. So they're going ahead, taking out this bruiser camp. They know they're given the objective. They're going to go ahead and let it walk in, get something maybe to create a little bit of extra pressure. You've got ETC split soaking in the bottom lane, which does mean they're slightly ahead in XP at the moment. Still pretty minor, though. All right, so the jump getting pulled out by Cawthon. It's not going to do too much. We all know that really all you're going to get on a first objective here on Infernal Shrines is likely that wall, which is, in fact, what Tiny Dancers walks away with. Falstad flying down to mid lane. And a bit of a counter engage coming in now. Liddell getting stunned on the Mal'Ganis, but he's going to be able to fly on out of here. Maybe Jailbait forces this in. They have black arrows. Are they going to keep going? Fragsteller seems to want to. But the rest of his team was backing away. He's taking a lot of damage, eating some CC. He's going to get out all right. The rest of Jailbait rotated back, give him a hand, and that camp's going to be cleared. Meanwhile, we got a 2v1 going on in middle, but the rest of Jailbait dropping now. Stun onto the Artanis, but he's still plenty healthy. I don't think anything's going to happen. Swap just misses Kobo there. And we've got ETC in the bottom soaking. We've got Artanis heading to the top lane to do that soak up there. So that leaves us in a 5v4 position. They know Artanis is up there. There's the engage onto Liddell. Another stun. He is locked down and goes down before he can get that sleep off. So that's a big kill. You know, it puts you ahead on your way to 10s. 10s will be here very soon now for Jailbait. And they're taking a camp in bottom. Maybe, a big stun comes out onto Kael'thas. He checked with, it may not want it to, but a big 3-man gravity lapse keeps him alive. And he will survive that face check. And it looks like they are opting to move out. You have the stage dive come in top to defend top from the Artanis push. Meanwhile, the rest of his team's invading, taking another siege camp. This wall here on bot fort for Tiny Dancers goes down with the Blaze Q. And Jailbait happy to just take every camp on the map. Just moving that Liddell on out of here. Getting rid of Mal'Ganis. Feldroth getting stunned by Cawthon. He's throwing down some CCs. I'd imagine that he still has his E up, so he's not too worried about it. And he'll go over the wall and get out of there. Manages to take half his HP while clearing, though. So, it's not nothing. Not nothing. And, big 3-man stun. H2O's here. So this is a 5v4. They don't know he's here. He's going to let Falstad go on pass, and now he's following him up. Catches the bribe. Not quite. That was so close. I think he just thought about it a little too late or misjudged the timing. It was good eyes. It was a good thought. If you could have had an engage there, it likely would have been the death of Falstad, or you would have got the camp, one of the two. But the gank onto Artanis afterward is successful with a 5-man rotation. And that puts Jailbait up a kill right at the start here. We've got black arrows coming out, so they're pushing. They say one guy's down, we could go ahead and get a head start on objective, but we're just going to go ahead and get the push we can. Meanwhile, you've got Tiny Dancers in the bottom lane answering what Jailbait's got going on in top, and they take bot wall. However, objective is a lot closer to top lane than bot, and you've got you've got Jailbait up 15 kills already. Still a big push, pushing into top lane for them. Artanis trying for the swap, misses. And we've got all 5 from Tiny Dancers walking in here. Big Blind hits everyone on the team. Combustion goes off on 3 members. You've got, a nice gust to try and zone the Riptire, and it does. It comes off on 2 people, but we're 34 in, 36 in, just 4 more. Liddell about to go down. And he does go down. Swap getting Artanis out of there, and the objective goes over to Jailbait. We've got 2 members of Tiny Dancers rotating top. H2O on ETC follows them up there. We've got 3 in middle. So it looks like the leap's coming in. There's damage coming out on Silver, but there's not enough members of Jailbait here to really turn that into a kill. Black Arrow's coming out, so they're really split soaking, favoring the soak rather than an attempt to get a keep here. And, you've got the Sylvanas that definitely helps that. But now that you've got all 5 members of Tiny Dancers defending this, I don't think you can get really anything else. So it's going to be a 4-man rotation or a 3-man rotation to join Kobo to have 4 down on this bottom fort. They're going to go ahead and try and take that, but the blind comes out. That's going to neuter the damage coming out onto this fort in time for the rest of the members of Tiny Dancers show up in defense. The well down here. Still, that swap just barely missed Fragstellar. But the well's still present in bottom lane, which should help. Meanwhile, we've got got that split ETC doing some damage to that already weakened fort in top. The flight coming in from Falstad to drive him off. And now we've got a little bit of a dance around this siege camp. Both teams seem to know the other one's there, but Tiny Dancer's not willing to fight and die over this thing. That's not a hill they want to die on. We've got the rest of their members rotating in now, though. Falstad bribing out top camp, while the rest of his team grabs the bottom neutral siege camp. That stun coming out from Coffin just misses Liddell on Maganis. Now we've got a 2-man rotation, 3-man rotation onto the ETC in top. His Q is down. And can he get it off? He did. The gravity lapse was just short, and he joins his team in bottom, spreading the bomb from Kel'Thas in the process, but that is all right, as there's so many members down here. That's going to secure bottom fort. The ult from Mal'Ganis coming out to get himself out of that situation, but Fragstellar and Kobo feeling pretty low from that Kel'Thas damage that came all the way from top lane. Meanwhile, top fort goes down on the side of Jailbait. Amateur opponent making quick work of that with the help of the other 2 sides of his DPS. And now the engage onto H2O. Nice unstoppable gets popped, getting him out of there. 3 members put to sleep, but a stun comes out from H2O, and it looks like this is going to be some rear guard action retreat. And Tiny Dancers has no option but to let him go, clear the lane. So structures-wise, we've got 2 forts still up and in very healthy order for Jailbait. Well, no wall on bottom, but still. And meanwhile, on the side of Tiny Dancers, you've just got 1 in the top lane, barely standing. But that is where the next objective is. So they will have at least some defense they can fall back to. They can't just be pursued endlessly. While, Jailbait has nothing to go to, but they do have 16s. They do have 16s. Now, the Bruiser Camp comes out, and it looks like they're doing a 5-man rotation back to middle, I guess to clear. Of course, they'd like to have 16 before this objective, but I don't see it happening. And either you're going to fight over this while you get 6 and not get 16, or you're going to give it and get 16. Because I think by the time you hit 16, this objective's over. So we've got a 4-man rotation. Falstad's still split. Here he comes flying up. It looks like they are opting to engage down a talent here, and really that's just something you got to do. But the swap comes out on the Kobo. Let's see if the follow-up's there. Nice unstoppable, but the damage and the Pyroblast coming out, he's going down for sure. Meanwhile, AG Silver took a lot of damage, but a nice ult comes out from Lucio, and that's a 1-for-nothing trade. Another swap just misses. Just misses Fragsteller. Elijah a little bit forward here takes a big chunk of his health. The slide from ETC misses. The gust comes out, leaving ETC kind of by himself, but he repositions with the stage dive, gets swapped back into the team, still taking a lot of damage. Liddell coming out, CC in the back line, huge ult from Rhaegar. This 4v5 keeps going. Mal'Ganis ult comes out, chasing the members of Jailbait back out of the objective. And objective is about even right now, 19-19. Junkrat coming up in 5 seconds, but he's not going to be able to rotate in time. So you're either picking another 4v5 or you're giving it over. So here comes the engage. 4v5, the blind comes out from Artanis. Liddell putting people to sleep on Mal'Ganis. And there it goes, the objective on over in favor of Tiny Dancers. Sylvanas might go down, but a heal from Rhaegar just saves her from the living bomb. And it will be a 5-man defense to this Punisher walking directly into Keep. Fragsteller might have to go all the way back unless he's got his tap up. I suppose he does. So now, the Punisher comes in, Coffin pulls it. Meanwhile, the members of Tiny Dancers just working on that front wall. This Punisher's going down quick, and that wall is still up. I don't see them getting a lot more out of this. Falstad's split, so I guess that, they were just happy that it didn't go over to Jailbait, as they should. I'm not sure Materium's going to get out. Oh, the speed from Lucio definitely saving Materium there. It was a risky mount, but he's all right. Now, with that objective one, Crisis averted on the side of Tiny Dancers. Falstad was split, managed to soak themselves back into even XP. We've got the members of Jailbait taking their top bruiser camp, relieving some of that pressure that's caused from them not having a fort. Now, H2O has this scouted out. He's probably pinging to his team, hey, come on in here. And here he goes. The back line. Ooh, a nice gust coming out from Feldroth, but the silence comes out. Big Lucio ult, keeping everything from dying. The Riptire gets destroyed before it hits anybody. Pyroblast coming out on the DB Smiley. We've got the Mal'Ganis ult coming back. A swap just misses Smiley himself. And the retreat ping comes out on the side of Tiny Dancers. That was a bit of a wild and expensive, all ults used on both sides, fight over that neutral siege camp with no lives lost on either side. Ooh, the stun from H2O coming out. They see Falstad in top lane. It just misses. And Tiny Dancer's able to walk away from that one. Meanwhile, there are siege camps in favor of Jailbait in mid, in bot. They still have the structure advantage despite losing last objective. They're grabbing another siege camp to push mid. We've got Feldroth split in the bottom lane on Falstad. Try and clear that up. And it looks like an invasion of Bruiser camp coming out from Jailbait. AG Silver's in a predicament here, but the rest of the team isn't there to follow up. H2O does not stun him. Falstad's been given time now to kind of get back up here. They know he's on it. And the swap on H2O behind the walls, he's got nowhere to go. But he does have stage dives, saving H2O's life for the third time this game. Pretty incredible, really, the versatility that has been able to be used there. I don't want to take anything away from that swap. That was a great swap. Fast thinking on H2O, using that to get out. As I do not believe he has slide over walls. He does not. Not a common ETC talent. Big poke coming out onto Elijah. He'll be able to heal that right back up, though, on Lucio. And the Shrine coming up. Got Materium coming up, grouping with his team into the top lane. We're positioned with two tanks in this bush. Artanis finds him, but two big double stuns coming out with the combustion. Lucio already almost dead. We know his ult's down. And there, ooh, the big preemptive Rhaegar ult to save the Pyroblast. Everybody a little hurt here. Both teams about half health. Liddell, big stun coming back out onto Elijah. Will he go down here? He's going to go down. Or no, he's not. He makes it. However, the rest of his front line goes down. Fragsteller might be counterkilled here, popping whatever, the Might of the Banshee Queen, Will of the Forsaken, and manages not to die. Coffin just going to interrupt that. But his team's sitting pretty with a 2-for-0 trade. It looks like this objective's going to be going over with confidence to Jailbait, who have a level lead ahead. So the only role or goal you really have on Tiny Dancers at this point is to soak what you can and hope you can get 20 by the time this thing makes it to your keep. But objective's already over. And that Punisher's on his way coming down mid. And you've got a Sylvanas still alive to put this keep to sleep. And you've got 15 seconds before your front lines here. This is a precarious position for Tiny Dancers. Let's see how they manage to defend. Elijah taking just so much CC. Punisher, big stage dive from H2O plus the follow-up stun. He goes down. He never had a chance. And this Punisher's still plenty healthy. It's a 4v5 defense, nearly full health Punisher. And there's the next leap, comes out onto Mal'Ganis. He gets booped by the Junkrat, gets his ult off, which is going to save him for a while. Materium very low. He's going to go down to the front line of Jailbait here. Liddell getting low himself. Veldroth died in the top lane. In the meantime, the GGs come out. And that's going to be game one heading over for Jailbait. And when you look at structures, it's rather decisive. Tiny Dancers did have a bit of a comeback in the mid game there, but it just, when they didn't take much more than top in the meantime, when the top wall, I guess is what I'm trying to say, it's just a little bit unfortunate. Just a little bit unfortunate. You would hope to see a little more than that, but they were just trying to get back into the game. And so, like I said, a decisive game one going over. And we will find out where we are headed to next. In the meantime, I'm going to bring the music back and give my throat a bit of a break here. All right, folks, we're going ahead and jumping into game 2. So, let me go ahead, dim this music on down. And let's get into it. All right, so I suppose I should say that first pick is on the side of Tiny Dancers. So this must be the map pick of Jailbait. It's Volskaya. They took us to Volskaya, so none too surprising. And let's see what they try to do here. We got the Ariel band coming out as band 1. Which, I mean, you really, I don't know. Your first ban, so you went ahead and banned Ariel. You could have forced that ban onto the side of Jailbait, I would think. But perhaps you're just not confident that you can play it, so you'd just rather not see it either way. And that's the ETC ban going to come out. They didn't like that ETC in the off lane. He did have some good stage dives, so a bit of a respect ban there. And Garrosh being the number 1 ban again on the side of Jailbait. Let's see if they're going to take out the Deathwing. It's going to be Zul'jin, so Deathwing up. Deathwing up again. Will Tiny Dancers pick it? I feel like if we were going to see it, we would have already seen it. So Johanna picked up on the side of Tiny Dancers. That's going to be their 1 pick, going ahead, snatching up the tank. They want that unstoppable. Maybe they want a little bit more in the way of blinds for him. The 1-2 going to be Mal'Ganis Stukov, which is kind of a scary combo because, I mean, it sets up those Stukov silences very easily. Very easily. When you've got a stun followed up by a 3-second sleep, it's pretty simple to click E right under wherever they are. Okay, so that's going to be an Anduin Kel'Thuzad on the side of Tiny Dancers, meaning they're looking to execute. And if that Kel'Thuzad can land everything he's supposed to land, I mean, I always think that when you're playing into a Kel'Thuzad, there's only so much that's in your hands. A lot of it is in the hands of the Kel'Thuzad. I mean, you can try and counterplay it as best you can, and obviously it's gotten easier as they've taken away what he can combo off of. Back when he could put it on your structures, on enemy structures, and just root off that, I mean, it was disgusting. He zoned you from your own buildings. It was a terrifying thing to behold. He's certainly more difficult to play now, but that potential is still there. The Alarak band comes out on the side of Jailbait, and Leoric band a 2nd time in a row on the side of Tiny Dancers. They're just trying to limit what that off lane can do. So 3-4 pick coming out for Jailbait here. Let's see what they try to go into. The Medivh and a Thrall. So the Medivh, a direct counter to the Kel'Thuzad. Says, all right, you can land everything you got to land, but once I put my Protect down, they'll be all right. And that really is, I mean, Protect really is just about the only thing you can do. I know I was saying there's only so much counterplay. Well, when you have preeminence to pick Medivh, it certainly helps your cause. So a good pick up there. And that's going to be an Uther Vala. So double heals, you can say, and certainly Uther has the ability to heal people. But he's more a body in the fray than he is anything else. So on the side of Tiny Dancers, you have 2 very capable hyper carries. Followed up with a pretty thick front line and good heals and protection on the side of Anduin. There's a lot of CC on the side of Tiny Dancers over there. And that's going to be a Sylvanas on the side of Jailbait. So they've got Thrall in the offlane, which is a fairly high damage offlaner. You know, when he can get his hits in. Obviously, he's a little squishier than your thicker front lines. In game 1, Jailbait definitely had the thicker front line. They had, you know, Blaze and they had ETC. Now you see the thicker front line over on the side of Tiny Dancers. So we'll see how that changes everything up. I'm liking Tiny Dancer's draft a lot more this time around. It's scary when you look at it. That Uther's going to have to be kind of careful, though. It can be, I mean, if he gets... Johanna has the D that she can pop and grant herself unstoppable, big-ass shield, and just walk away from whatever gets thrown at her. Uther doesn't have that luxury. Then again, if your Uther goes down and the fight is pretty ensuant, the heals are right behind it. So, getting on in. Let me switch over our inlays here. Getting on into game number 2. On the side of Tiny Dancers, we have AG Silver on Kel'Thuzad, Liddell playing Johanna, Materium on Anduin, Feldroth on the Vala, and Elijah playing Uther. And on the side of Jailbait, we've got Kobo on Thrall, Cawthon playing the Mal'Ganis, DB Smiley on Stukov, Frag Stellar on the Sylvanas, and H2O on Medivh. So let's see how this opening fight ensues. And I gotta say, y'all, Jailbait, I mean, they just proved it last game. They're just toppling everybody they come across. They've gotten their groove. Whatever it was that they were missing, they found it. All right. So not too much going on early on. Oh, here comes the engage from Cawthon. He gets immediately stunned back. Stacks coming out on the side of AG Silver. He's going to find him some there. Silence coming out from DB Smiley, and everybody's a little hurt. Fragstellar being the most hurt. And they're just going to back off, lick their wounds. And we have stacks coming out. I mean, Medivh's trying to stack. Thrall's trying to stack. Vala's trying to stack. She went Vault build. Uther's trying to stack auto attacks. And Kel'Thuzad, of course, trying to stack. Just missed that chain. And Tiny Dancer's going to take quite a bit of chunk of damage to everybody's health there. That snare just misses. H2O being pulled away from his portal, but there comes the rotation. And if they use those Medivh portals to rotate quickly, it can give you a big advantage. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, I think this is just going to be a farm fest. Thrall's trying to get his stacks. Uther's trying to get his stacks. It is what it is. And the double rotate on both sides is pretty safe. I want to say you got the protects. Ooh, but they almost 4-man rotated down. Ooh, and the protect and root and everything comes out. Whew. Good thing he was in range of that portal. But H2O able to get out there. All right, we've got a 2-man rotation coming down. Elijah very deep, but maybe it was just very good bait, or maybe his team's just good. Somebody needs to cut him off. Kobo is going to get a good double root, but another stun comes out, and I guess he just was consigned to his fate there. He was pretty much on the other side of the enemy team. I've been in that position myself. All right, so first turret of the game coming out on the side of Jailbait while their friendly Thrall was getting murdered in the bottom lane. You know, you got to make the best of it. It was a good distraction. And meanwhile, you've got Tiny Dancers now getting onto theirs. I don't think either team took it quickly enough for the turret to be back up before objective starts. All right, Fragstellar pushing in top lane, getting that push on its way. Healing camp, still fine. We've got Cawthon anchoring in this bush here. Uther at 41 stacks. Kel'Thuzad only at 4. Medivh at 10. Thrall at 12. He's nearly there. And Vala getting hers, being scouted by Medivh right now. Meanwhile, Jailbait's doing the exact same thing. Theirs going to be coming out just a little bit later. All right, Cawthon's already here, but the rest of his team isn't. He takes one chain, but without a spike to get him to, he's fine. Meanwhile, Medivh was in the air the whole time. Just kind of watching the situation. Now there's the chain double root into it, and now we're up to 9 stacks on Kel'Thuzad, just like that. And Feldroth now coming in on Vala to join. Liddell a little hurt. She's actually going to go top and clear this out. I was curious who was going to win up here since it was pretty much even. But Vala's going to make sure that that goes in favor of Tiny Dancers. Meanwhile, the objective is 40% inside of Jailbait. Kobo, having pushed the lane out, is going to come up and join. Medivh's now separated in top trying to clear this. He does not do that well. That's going to take him a while. He said screw that. He's on his way back down. Coffin taking a lot of poke here, but he manages to get the sleep off, maybe get out. The root comes down, misses everybody, but the damage still gets out. The portal almost comes out, but doesn't. They're giving it over, so now channeling in favor of Tiny Dancers. Another big root, another big hit. He's up to 13. A couple more, and he'll have a spike. All right, there's a portal putting Coffin in. He tries to get the sleep off, but gets stunned before it goes off. Doesn't matter, though. Doesn't go on cooldown. And the aggressive turret pushes them off for sure. But it's in tower range. And Coffin now, with the Protect coming down, is going to save him. But the portal does not go out, I don't think, where it was intended. However, it was enough of a distraction to get the entire channel off. And the first objective going right on over to Jailbait. Let's see where they take this thing. Protector looks like it's heading top. And, you know, that's fairly standard. They're going to get the wave pushing first. Maybe he says, all right, you guys get that going. I'm going to go ahead and get into this wall. Still getting more stacks. 19 stacks for Kel'Thuzad. 17 on Medivh. Liddell getting in there, doing some peel for the back line, pushing them off. The front wall is down. They're moving on to... Ooh, that was a big root coming out on the frag. Will he get the portal out? He does. Another life saved by H2O. Are they going to get that? Is that enough? It's not. H2O now has his Protect. I don't know what his portal CD is. The shield comes out from the Protector, though, and that's going to save him. But this managed to stay up. You definitely want to get that water. I wonder if they come back later to finish it off. Meanwhile, the rest of Tiny Dancers rotated down. An aggressive portal comes out, but nobody from Jailbait taking it. AG Silver's still got a turret over here. Bot lane, Elijah just finished his E-Stack quest on Uther. So he's got a much lower cooldown on his stuns if he can keep those autos coming. And he went Holy Shock as well. Medivh just watching this turret camp. Got Vala taking their siege. And the members of Jailbait are coming in, going to go ahead and take this. Medivh's been watching it for a while. I don't know if they know where the rest of Jailbait's at, or if Tiny Dancers. Medivh coming out and zoning with his ult. And they're going to get it and get out. Vala was top the entire time. She never rotated, so it was a rather safe play. And that's going to be a turret in their favor. Ooh, that's a big pull. Does he have his Protect up? He does. Does he have his portal up? He does. But big, more CC coming out. He just got out of there. They nearly kept the CC chain up for the full, 3.5, 4 seconds it would have taken to kill him. Big push now in favor of Tiny Dancers in top. Jailbait's going to have to come answer it. We've got 2 turrets on Jailbait, 1 on Tiny Dancers. So item advantage currently in their favor. H2O stuck around. He's very low. But he's safe for now. They're pinging the call for it. They see Uther and bot. And they said, let's go ahead. Let's get this show on the road. Try and force something here. Another little portal coming out. A turret gets dropped to kind of make sure that they're going to get this. The portal goes in. Gives Coffin a bit of an engage. And Tiny Dancers doesn't want to commit through the turret to try and prevent the health pack. So it will go over in favor of Jailbait. And we've got Kel'Thuzad. I mean, his ult finished, or passive finished, which gives him 75% more damage? Yeah, spell power damage. Only damage that matters on Kel'Thuzad. You're not trying to auto-attack anyone to death. Might take you a while. So Siege coming out in favor of Jailbait. Jailbait here. They'll have that pushing in the lane. Then again, it is the objective map, so it'll be there as a team fight presence, but certainly it's not going to get any significant push. Stukov coming up now. He was a bit separated. We've got all 5 members of Tiny Dancers now rotating to mid. Just Vala rotated to mid. Medivh kind of pushing him back, and it looks like the Sippy Cup was taken out. I missed that happening, but it did happen. So, Mercenary Queen trying to get these things pushing in. You got Medivh in the sky. Fragsteller did step out for quite a bit. The protection comes out. Is it going to be enough? Just enough. Again, these CC chains, there's a lot of CC on the side of Tiny Dancers. They just can't keep it all queued perfectly. And Fragsteller tapped and everything else. She's already back to full health. Healing emitter already dropped. Vala caught out here. She's going to vault back, get away. She's still heavily pressured. Silence comes out onto her. Ult comes out from Mal'Ganis. All of Tiny Dancers in full retreat. Chunked down to half health. Ult's all used. Except for Light Bomb for Anduin. And Tiny Dancers forced to back off here. And we're 50% in, 60% in on the objective channel for Jailbait. So it looks like number 2's heading their way. They're going to have to come in here soon to try and force a stall. This turret it's practically dead by now. The timer's almost out. There's no more items they can drop on the side of Jailbait. So here they go, getting on at 94% is Liddell. They're down 13 talent here. Ult coming out on the Coffin. He's trying to peel his way back out. Good dodge of the Kel'Thuzad ult, but he's just taking CC after CC after CC. Manages the portal to get out, and the Protect coming afterward. He's going to live again. Medivh really getting a lot of value so far. There's the ult for Medivh, locking down the Kel'Thuzad. Liddell getting low. Coffin getting low. Another Protect saves his life, but he's going to go down right alongside Kel'Thuzad. Sylvanas dies to Feldroth in the backline. Didn't even see that damage coming out, but so that's a 2-for-1, and they managed to get overtime pushed in their advantage. But, I mean, Jailbait has plenty of time to recoup and come back here for another fight. It looks like they're going to go down and maybe get this turret, clearing up bot lane, getting what experience they can. I wonder if Tiny Dancers is going to come and take this healing camp in the meantime. I don't know if they know how many are missing. They know Medivh's there. They know Stukov was bot. And yeah, they're getting it started. Stukov, too far away to rotate, but Medivh giving him some pause. It's hard to do things under the Raven's eye when you know he's watching. Nice coming up, giving a little bit of scouting. They know all 5 are up here, so it's going to be just a dead-on, even talent tier fight. The pre-portal placed, canceled. Big ults coming down on Sylvanas. That is too much CC. And the Kel'Thuzad finally finding his mark. That's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of death, and 2 go down for nothing. AG Silver and the rest of his team too, keeping the CC up so they couldn't get away. That's going to be second objective, over to the side of Tiny Dancers. Let's see them do something with it. So they're pushing straight into this top fort. Going ahead and taking it. They know 2 are dead. They don't have to try and, keep this thing's health up, since there's really not any damage on the side of Jailbait that can hurt it. So they're going to leave it at that, and that's going to be enough to take top fort. Will they rotate it to mid, or will they rotate it straight to bottom? Coming into mid. Damage going out early. The E on Protector used. Ooh, big pull, but the Protect's there. And the ult from Medivh, I've got to figure out. Leyline comes out. That's going to be enough damage, though, to go ahead and pop mid fort as well. Protector's about dead here, but nice disengage by the Palm. Elijah's come up in group now on Uther. So whenever this goes down, there will be 5 there. Aggressive portal put down. It would be great if someone... I mean, I like that portal. That would have been a cool engage, but Jailbait opts not to use it. So things will be even for the third objective. We've got Jailbait maybe looking to come into here. Tiny Dancer's taking it. Medivh could throw up a portal. He's not going to, though. They're just kind of harassing Liddell. They deal some damage to him, but Johann's just so hard to kill. So now the members of Jailbait rotating up, getting out of bot lane. Looks like Tiny Dancer's going to follow them up. 16 in favor of Tiny Dancers. They certainly want a fight. If they can find a fight. Feldrop definitely saying, let's engage on this coffin, dropping 2 ults. And they managed to get his ult out, the Protect's out, and they had all the CC timed in time to take him out, and that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, they're just going to have to keep their CC all lined up, boom, 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 so people can't take the portals. You got to CC him through the entire Protect and everything else Mal'Ganis has. I mean, it says something about the comp, though, that they even have the ability to layer that much CC. Shane coming out on the Smiley. Medivh's there, though. Ooh, and the nice counter arrow. Nice counter arrow by Fragsteller, making sure the follow-up CC couldn't be there. 2 items in favor of Tiny Dancers as they push into this bottom lane. They do want to get an advantage here. I mean, next objective's bot. They want this cup, this sippy cup, and they're going to get it. The rest of Jailbait's coming in here to defend it, but it's already down. Snare comes out onto Mal'Ganis. There's the Protect. He's walking back, but meanwhile, ooh, nice ley line. Is she still going to get pulled when it's over? She does. Ooh, what a sundering. What a sundering. Hit 5 people, killed the Vala. Elijah now very low. Big heal comes out from Anduin there, but the rest of his team's asleep, and Elijah goes down, having been separated and fleeing top. So that's a 2-for-0. Kobo heading off, maybe? No, they need to push in here too. I think so. All right, they're taking the portal. Pushing in. There's the ley line on Kel'Thuzad. Black arrows have shut this down. Stukov's still in the back line. He's not here. He's going to start tanking this. Nope, there's minions in the way. They don't manage to get a kill. Someone's going to have to tank this, or they're going to take a portal out. Now the rest of the members of Tiny Dancers are rezzing. So about half damage on the fort. They looked for another kill, didn't quite get it. So the fort's still standing. It's pretty even in the bot lane, truly, for this objective that's coming up now. But there's pressure in top lane that Feldrop feels he needs to answer. So he is top. They're going to give over the initial of this. But, I mean, Tiny Dancer's trying to take this, and the big portal engage comes in. I mean, they know that they've got a member top. So this is just goes right on over to Jailbait. Good eyes knowing they're separated. A good call. Ley line maybe used a bit prematurely there. So it's 5 ults to 4, but item advantage certainly in favor of, I guess I can't tell. I can't tell if Medivh has an item or not. Oh, hell. Arrow, if you can tell me how to get rid of this, that'd be great. I didn't mean to click on somebody. If you don't tell me how, then we'll just have to watch Medivh the rest of the game. Okay, they're pushing into bot. Big heal's coming out. It looks like Jailbait just going ahead and backing out. Big stuns come in. There's the E, roots. The Protect can only go on 1, not 2. Ooh, a lot of damage coming out. Sundering being used. Nobody's going to die here. But it looks like the re-engage is on the way. Now, Chain landed on Coffin, but it didn't hit anybody else. Kobo got a big roots come in on AG Silver. Kel'Thuzad isn't going to go down. The Protect comes out and protects the Sylvanas. Liddell very low. Also going to make it out. Ult pop by Mal'Ganis, but he's low. He can't chase into that. And they did manage to push him off the point, so it's 43%, 46 now in favor of Jailbait. All 5 members of Tiny Dancers are out. They can certainly re-engage here. Let's see if they do. Still the turret up. There goes the ult and everything, but the Protect's out. Can they layer the CC? They will. And Stukov goes down. Elijah kind of low. He's going to get slept. Big damage still coming out on him. He's going to fall too, but he'll be able to heal his team up. And there goes the Kel'Thuzad hitting even more. The Unstoppable comes out and Protect on Sylvanas. She's going to live for now. Same could not be said for Stukov. He's going to die. Fragsteller is going to get away. Thank you, Arrow. All right, Frag getting away. 2-for-1 trade. They're going to come in, push in now, and take another turret for Tiny Dancers. Jailbait answering all this push they had in top lane. Took their top wall. Doesn't do a ton of damage. Meanwhile, yeah, Tiny Dancer's going to push in. Go ahead and take this fort. They should. It's the right call here. especially when you know Jailbait's up in top lane. It's just one less thing for your protector to walk through. I mean, it's going to be a 19-minute level 20 protector. You can end with those. I mean, it certainly happens a lot. If this objective doesn't end, next one certainly will. But, structure advantage well in the favor of Tiny Dancers at the moment. 3 forts down on the side of Jailbait. But they've got big waves in mid, big waves in top, so they really only have to worry about bottom. And worry about it they will as the protector comes stomping down. Medivh giving them some vision. Just kind of watching what they're doing. Trying to make sure that he's ahead of any KTZ spikes that come out. Not a lot of poke damage able to be put out on the side of Jailbait. Fragstellar taking a lot of damage from the minigun on the protector. Q comes in and they're pushed on in. There goes the turret and a pull comes out on Fragstellar. Can they layer the CC? The Unstoppable by Sylvanas saves herself. Elijah very low now in the back line. Is he going to fall? 40 HP and he gets away. AG Silver was ley lined at the time. E comes out. Another big pull. Is there another protect up? There isn't. And Thrall just gets melted. There's a protect and an ult. Well done by the Mal'Ganis to keep himself healthy. Will he be able to get back out though? A lot of stuns coming out on him. He does have a spike on him, I think, but the sleep's going to come back through. He's not out of the woods yet. More protects coming out. Can he get to the portal? Stun comes out. Good silence. He's going to get away. However, the keep has fallen, and it's a 1 for 4 right now. I don't think that Tiny Dancers feels they can end, but they're getting big push out of this. Big structure advantage. 2 keeps now down. Do they go for a third? I'm not sure they do. See if we get any more chains. There's a portal, maybe. No. Meanwhile, the siege camp has pushed in top, but it hasn't gotten any structure value yet for Jailbait. So, Tiny Dancer's in a very commanding position here. I mean, you're almost at the point, and they did just bail on the protector. You're at a point where you can pretty much sit still and do nothing, and the game will win itself for you. It is on Jailbait to force an engage, force a pick, be unpredictable, do something surprising, and give yourself an advantage. Jailbait taking their turret while Tiny Dancers is taking their healing pack, whatever it's called. Biotic emitter. All right. Let's see now. It looks like they want to push in, but they don't invade. Medivh knew where they were, but they didn't invade. But you've got to see something aggressive, because the longer that you wait on the side of Jailbait, the more you have to play catch-up with all these lanes. I mean, look at the pressure. 2 Cat is in bot already. They're all the way in top lane. Now they've got to fall all the way back and deal with this. So when you manage to put enough of this pressure off of you, you have to use that time to make an engagement. And now you've got Tiny Dancers coming in. Blind Chain, maybe? Misses. Thrall has been dealing with bot lane. Tiny Dancers pushing in top. It's the only thing left to siege. I mean, you do want to make yourself a nuisance up here. The only issue is, that's the only engage where they have any defense, so it'd be better if you could take a fight away from it. And they're just clearing lanes and pushing these Katas in. Pre-portal coming out. Gets canceled. They're back into top lane now, Tiny Dancers. They want to put pressure on this keep. And if I'm Jailbait, I want to fight them. Black Arrow's coming out, just going to shut that down. Coffin in middle. Clearing what he can. Got a rotation coming out on the side of Tiny Dancers. Fortification camps up in a minute. 45 seconds on Jailbaits. And there's nothing up. I'm not sure what their plan is. They're pinging danger over here on the side of Jailbait. They know they're lurking somewhere. Medivh goes and finds them. Everybody's playing pretty passively. Here comes the objective. That's going to force some action. Which, I mean, you didn't have to make anything happen if you're Tiny Dancers. You're more than willing to let this take place. An engage right here on the map means that you can fall back easily to your fort. They have nowhere they can go. They have no tap. So it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. If you're Jailbait, you wanted to pick that fight in top lane when you had something you could fall back on. But it's hard to force those engages when there's pressure in every lane. Will Jailbait peel off to take that? No. Maybe? Yes. Yes, they will. Tiny Dancer's cutting down, though. So you don't want to find yourself strung out. Coffin needs to be careful here. He's got eyes in the sky. Turret's done, so 2 turrets in favor of Tiny Dance, or Jailbait. 1 turret and a biotic, 2 turrets and a biotic emitter on Tiny Dancer's side. They're just trying to clear lane. There's 2 Katas in mid. It doesn't look like Tiny Dancer's trying to force anything. They're waiting for 1 more turret. The portal's out. Ooh, here comes the engage. I like it. Coffin coming in, getting a sleep ley line. There's the portal. Ult coming out on side of Coffin. But Medivh just gets shredded by Feldroth in the back, and there's no focus on the Feldroth. Gets low, but Feldroth just taking out Medivh, then taking out the ETC or the Sylvanas. Almost goes down there. Kobo had a nice ult. Coffin pretty low here. But ultimately, they're going to be fine. And I wonder what happened to all of the turrets. Maybe they got dropped and were just killed on the side of Jailbait. But it's a 4v3. Feldroth kind of low. And Jailbait going to back off. Tiny Dancer still has 1 more turret on to Kel'Thuzad. That was a nice engage. I think that what happened is that Tiny Dancers were just able to create enough pressure in the front line to prevent any of that damage from getting back onto the Vala, but the portal was right in her face. I think if you had more people take it and stick to her, she goes down there, and maybe the fight goes in your favor. A level 20 Vala, if you let her go, and she's full AA build, you let her go, she's just going to shred anybody she's whacking on. You've got to have that CC to bring her down. Nobody's channeling the objective, though, and I think that Jailbait just realized this, so they're going to go ahead and push in. And I don't know that you can really answer top lane if you're Jailbait. There's a turret. Here comes the spike. Is he going to catch anybody? Medivh's here. Misses. Ult coming out from Coffin. Leyline comes out as well. Vala CC'd. That might not have been a good thing to have her CC'd there. It would have been good to focus her, but it's still a good fight from Jailbait so far. There's big roots coming out on the golly, and the double Q on the side of Kel'Thuzad. It's just so much damage. Liddell getting low here. Mal'Ganis falls to the Vala. So does Sylvanas due to the CC. H2O trying to do what he can. Tries to put a portal out for Kobo. Kobo's going to get away, but it's a 4-for-1, and I think that means this game's conclusion. All kinds of siege minions. All kinds of catapults. I mean, even if Jailbait had won that fight, they'd have been in a rough position. 5 members now piling onto the core, and it is dropping quickly. That's going to be game 2. In favor of Tiny Dancers. So we're going to game 3, everybody. We're going to game 3. I am going to pull us back to the between games. I'm going to give my voice another break and bring the music back in the interim. Well played by both teams. I'm looking forward to seeing this game 3. All right, guys. We're getting into game 3. And that means that this is for all the marbles. So it's going to be Infernal Shrines. Let me get us keyed into draft here. And band 1 going on over to Jailbait. Let's see what they're looking for here. They got first pick. This was Tiny Dancer's map pick. It's going to be the Garrosh again. Jailbait showing they do not like that guy. They don't want that guy. They don't want to deal with him. They don't want him around. Definitely don't want him in a 2-lane map. Ariel, of course, being banned out. You know, Deathwing, I feel like, is starting to get to a place where there is ways to deal with him. It doesn't have to be banned, and these two teams clearly don't see him as a necessity. But Ariel still, I mean, even after what's been done to her, it's just insane what she can do. We made the mistake of not banning her against Jailbait, and I mean, it just made every fight. It just didn't matter how well you did. It didn't matter if you got kills. It didn't matter how things turned out. Ariel would just bring him back. And late in the game, you know, when she's able to bring herself back and then 30 seconds later just res one of her teammates like right there on the battlefield beside you from where they fell during the last team fight, it's just a huge... prevents the other team from being able to do much in the way of structure damage. Now, Kel'Thuzad gets banned out. I mean, they had the answer with the Medivh, but still, the CC and the Q damage coming out from Kel'Thuzad just late in the game was absolutely insane with the Shade. ETC being the first pick on the side of Jailbait. Didn't get banned out this time. Johanna did. Muradin being picked alongside Li Ming for Tiny Dancers. So, you know, more of a skill shot, individual type precision damage, precision tank for Tiny Dancers. The 2-3 for Jailbait. It's going to be Anduin and Falstad. I like Falstad. I said that before, I'll say it again. And you got Anduin coming out for DB Smiley. It's going to be correcting some of those mistakes. He's got that get out of jail free card. Always nice to have. Going to be Spooky Ghost again gets banned. That is the third number 3 ban in a row that he has received. Third ban for the side of Jailbait. What's that going to be? Uther. Okay. I like that. He definitely layered some CCs last game. It's just tough to deal with that much lockdown. When Mal'Ganis can't get away from you, you know you got a lot of lockdown. So the Lucio coming out from Liddell. Lucio paid dividends in game 1. I liked what he was able to do. And you've got Zul'jin, who hasn't been seen yet this series, but a strong auto attacker. You got that backline poke from Li Ming. He's got some good stand in place and hurt the things around him. So nice diversity in the damage. Mal'Ganis Greymane. So that's ETC in the off lane again. This being Battlefield, there's not as much of a reason to be split and get that stage dive value, but I'm sure he'll find a way. And Greymane, of course, just being huge race, which they needed because otherwise they're severely lacking in race on the side of Jailbait, but Greymane brings that up a large margin. Sylvana's still out there, but they need a top laner, and it's going to be Blaze. Or Muradin. Muradin might be in the off lane. I don't know. Maybe. You know, who knows? You could probably even put Zul'jin up there. He'd get a lot of hits on ETC. So, We got huge front lines on both sides. Got 4 tanks in this game. 4 main tanks. And, you know, a lot of big damage as well. I mean, Ming, Zul'Jin, Greymane, Falstad even can do a lot. This is just a little more, I guess, cooldown based. Not that Ming's isn't, but Ming's a lot burstier. So, Game 3 is out here. We're ready to see who's going to be the victor of all this. And on the side of Tiny Dancers, we have AG Silver playing Muradin, Materium on Li Ming, Feldroth playing Zul'Jin, looking like Illidan over here, Liddell on Lucio, and Elijah on the Blaze. And on the side of Jailbait, we've got Kobo on Falstad, Cawthon on Mal'Ganis, Fragstellar on Greymane, DB Smiley on Anduin, and H2O back on the Rock and Roll Cow. We got 4 people coming into top on the side of Tiny Dancers. They're looking for a quick kill on this cow. He's a bit elusive, especially in the early game, though. I'm not sure you're going to be able to lock him down long enough to kill him. But I want to see the attempt. He hasn't scouted it out yet. They see Lucio in bot. Where's he going? Where's he going? He's trying to bait him out. I don't know. All right, they're calling off the dogs. Everybody needs to get bot. Wave's crashing. Let's see how they come in here. They're rotating safe. Ming Orb comes out, hits Cawthon, some damage. Big 3-man sleep, though. Completely shuts that down. 2-man stun on the Materium. Gets low. Root hits the Lucio. Some autos coming out onto Kobo's getting about half HP. Fragstellar with the stun down on him. Muradin taking a little poke in return, but he doesn't care. Cawthon coming back up. Big Orb misses. Kobo getting healed back up. Feldroth getting as many stacks as he can. Oh, shit. Thank you, Arrow. Catching that. Sorry for the delay. Y'all had the wrong scene change out. All right, more poke. Fragstellar getting back down to about 1/5 HP. He's going to go back and tap. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Blaze is low. Not sure how that happened. I don't think ETC can bully that much. Big stun coming out on the Cawthon. Is he going to get away? Feldroth pops his, I'm not sure what that trait talent is or is, but gets put to sleep at full health. Lucio is the kill call. AG Silver managing to just get out. Fragstellar Deep gets pulled back out from Anduin, and that is a lot of people very low. Near deaths on all sides, but no one going down. Meanwhile, in the top lane, I'm kind of curious. Y'all going to have to let the 4-man go for a bit. I'm curious how H2O's doing this. What did he go? He's got Guitar Hero. Heals for his basic attacks and increases his. So that's his sustain. Maybe he's just sticking to him. Not sure. Meanwhile, he's got new habits on the side of Blaze. We've got 2 members peeling off for Jailbait. Go ahead and take this Bruiser camp. The rest of Tiny Dancers taking bottom camp, and then presumably will do their Bruiser camp. H2O still just kind of bullying Blaze. Definitely bullying the Globes, too, which, I mean, Blaze wants to get. Oh, but here comes the 5-man invade onto the Bruiser camp. Li Ming put to sleep. She gets her blink out. Falstad doing what damage he can. Liddell gets out with almost nothing after Greymane hops on him. Feldroth getting away with 30 HP. Here comes the counter engage. Blaze coming in. AG Silver's in there too. Feldroth still very low. H2O trying to get out. It looks like this is going to go over in favor of Tiny Dancers, despite both of their, or 2 of their members being, sub 100 health. And the race is on in favor of Jailbait early. It looks like they just went top on the side of Tiny Dancers and halftime decisively in Jailbait's favor. But you got Anduin backing to get mana. You've got Falstad dealing with push in the bottom lane. So this is a 5v3 currently. Defense coming in. Materium on the burn. Feldroth on the burn. The rest of the members of Jailbait coming in to give this a push into 3. It's still in their favor. Big Sleep comes out, zoning so that Greymane can get some work done. And this is very close, 65 to 5K. It looks like, I'm not sure who this is going to go to. I guess it's going over in favor of Tiny Dancers. They do get the win on it. Zul Jin's burn coming out in favor with Li Ming bursting it. So, despite winning halftime, first objective goes over in favor of Tiny Dancers, and it's heading top. ETC already split in the bot lane. Blaze on his way there. It's going to be a 4-on-4 in top. No shield on the Immortal, and it is Immortal number 1. It can take top for it, but I'm not sure this one's going to. It's going to take some kills to get that. Big stun coming out onto Coffin. Manages to get his sleep off anyway. There's not really good follow-up after Muradin's stun, CC-wise. And he's deep in the enemy team, but he just doesn't care. And the Immortal's going to go down. Takes top wall, but it could have been a lot worse. They keep their sip cup, which is good. Meanwhile, ETC just beating the hell out of Elijah with his guitar. They're trying to take this. I don't know if they know Ming went back, but it's going to be hard to push in 3v4. Is Silver going to try it? He doesn't. Stun's coming out onto the back line from Mal'Ganis. Theldroth pops his trait. Silver, here comes the counter engage. Now Anduin's in a bad spot. Anduin needs another Anduin to pull him out, but the CC engage from Coffin is going to give him the time he needs to get out. Everybody on Jailbait's going to be okay. Trying to clear up the rest of the siege camp now. Looks like Jailbait's going to back off and let him do it. Kobo stacking Hammering, or Gathering Storm, rather. He takes about half his HP right there. So does Coffin. Another big orb comes out. He managed to dash away from that one. No minions coming out. Are they going to try and get the sippy cup? They are. That's aggressive. They're going to back out before they do it. Got Immortals coming in. There's not really any camps to take except for bottom siege, but neither of these two are going to solo a camp. It looks like Jailbait's just setting up for the burn, maybe? Not sure where they're rotating to. They did get this sippy cup. I'm going to start calling a healing fountain. Trying not to be a 5-year-old. All right. So, everything's about even. We'll see how they engage. We've got H2O in a very aggressive position here. No one knows he's there. 2 members from Tiny Dancers were bot, but they're here now. And some damage coming out. He's kind of exposed. He's got his Q up, I think. He does. So everybody's still relatively healthy on Jailbait. The Bruiser camps just came up. Big poke on the Coffin there. Elijah at half HP. AG Silver doesn't have a whole lot of mana on Muradin. And you need it. He's got about enough mana for one of every single ability. And there comes a stun. And there goes the W. And now he's practically All right, engage coming from Coffin. They're pushing in now to the Immortal. Theldroth trying to take the Bruiser camp while the rest of his team's defending Immortal. Liddell trying to help him clear it. Poke coming in from Ming, but, that's halftime. I'm not sure that was worth the Bruiser camp. Maybe if you can put on a spirited defense at this point, it will be. Jailbait sees them take it, and they're heading back to tap. Nice W from ETC to cancel the Blaze charge. And with a pull from Anduin, he's going to get out, but he is low. Ooh, and another stun coming out on the Coffin now. Members of Jailbait, front line, very low. DB Smiley taking some damage as well, trying to keep his team healed. And that's a full 5-man on defense. Jailbait is peeling off to deal with this camp, so that is some free time to burn on the side. No, but that's a push in from Jailbait. Moving into this 3-man. They're trying to push in while 1 man clears, and that's going to be a kill. It's a big damage, big engage. And Lucio just couldn't handle the Greymane jumping on him after all that CC. So now Jailbait fully in command here. Going to take the Immortal with about half of a health shield, maybe 40% is more accurate. heading down to bot and did it all without Kobo. He was clearing bot lane. All members of Tiny Dancers are top. Of course, the Immortal isn't here yet. Stage dive ETC peeling off, going top. Blaze is leaving while this thing pushes into wall. So it's a 4-on-4 for now. Blaze is here. ETC is just a button away. And it's pushing in, doing major damage to this fort. This fort's going down for sure. Ooh, big poke from Ming coming in. Here comes the stage dive. Fragstellar kind of caught out, but it's going to be a Gus. Might have saved AG Silver's life there. This Immortal's almost dead. Ult's being popped on both sides, completely out except for Bunker and go for the throat. And Immortal's going to die. Falstad flew top. The rest of Jailbait kind of trapping the rotation. And here comes the rest of Tiny Dancers moving up into the trap. Coffin getting hit. He's taking a lot of damage and the follow-up stun, but the save comes out from DB Smiley. He was going down for sure there. So, no tap here on the side of Jailbait. Are they going to contest this siege camp anyway? Would be aggressive. Good scout by Kobo. They're not gonna run into that. But is anyone going to stay behind to defend the fort? Because if everybody goes bot, it's very easy for Tiny Dancers to push in here and even up this structure. And they see at least one in bottom. They don't know where the other two members are, but they're pushing in anyway. Which is the right call. I mean, it's a good call. And that's going to even up structures. I mean, you took a siege camp in bottom, but you lost the fort. And Tiny Dancers is going to have plenty of time to come down here and rotate. H2O now kind of caught out. 5 men in him. Double stun comes out. Stunned him during his Q. He's got no more ability to get out here. Just manages to sidestep the guillotine, and that's going to save his life. Now you've got the members of Jailbait going top to clear this camp. You got the members of Tiny Dancers coming bot to clear this camp in Kata. Jailbait taking their camp. Camp is up in 17 seconds for Tiny Dancers. I wonder if they'll stick around for it because Immortal's already here. Now they're right on to the burn. Feldroth a little bit behind on Zul'jin, but they've got enough damage here. And the back ping comes off. They want to defend, which is, I mean, if you can take the fight under your Immortal, that's where you want it. Stun comes out onto Mal'Ganis. Coffin gets his ult off. Trait popped on Zul'jin. Immortal pushing Coffin back out. Elijah low on mana. Big poke comes out from Li Ming. Fragstella very low. Guillotine just misses, but he's going to go down anyway. H2O now low. He's slid through the enemy team, but he's got enough regen. He's getting out of here. So that's a 1-for-0 trade. 13s are here for both sides. We've got Tiny Dancers trying to clear in the top lane. Jailbait floating around, seeing maybe if they can poke this Immortal a little bit more. Maybe they're going to the defense. Falstad getting a little poke in. Elijah down here. Li Ming backed for mana. Elijah's low on mana still. They'll draw off half everything. And they're still playing the defense game. But they have big wave pushing in bottom, so they can't play D forever. Push back from Lucio, keeping Coffin from engaging. There comes the stun onto Kobo, and the root follows it up. Big twin axes, but Zul'jin dies from the full-on dive. AG able to jump out. Kobo still very low, but it looks like Elijah's the one caught out now. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get away. Materium trying to provide some damage peels, but good blink over the wall is going to get Materium out. Here comes the ult from ETC. Materium looks like she's going down anyway. I'm not sure how slippery you can be. One more paw from Greymane takes her down. So a good turnaround on the side of Jailbait. And now with 3 men down, you've got to expect that this Immortal's going to go in their favor. But that's halftime. Stalls it out a little bit. They've got Blaze coming up in 5 on the side of Tiny Dancers. Do they try and make a 3-man defense? H2O is pushing in. It's Guillotine out onto H2O. Root comes out onto H2O. Coffin, however, there to peel for him. Meanwhile, the damage of Jailbait just shredding the Immortal. Looks like they will get this out to at least provide them some push and counter push in the bottom lane while they're fighting top on Immortal isn't a bad consolation. Some poke coming out from Ming, but this Immortal is very healthy. That's a 60% shield. ETC splitting off. He's got stage dive in 8 seconds, though. So here it goes, pushing in. Taking out the wall. Shield almost down already. There hasn't been any sort of large engage yet. I suspect they'll wait. There's a stun onto the front line. But Tiny Dancers is fine. I haven't seen the stage dive yet. This Immortal's getting very low. If they want this depressing to keep, they need to go ahead and engage. Are they happy with that? I mean, it's too low now. So, a rather easy defense on the side of Tiny Dancers. Meanwhile, ETC splitting. Soaking 16. You got a 5-man rotation from Tiny Dancers. Apparently, ETC knows it's coming. He's out of here. And Tiny Dancers pushing into bottom siege. Falstad flew down. Are they going to try and do something about it? No. No. They can't get there in time. They are here to defend, though. And they have structure advantage. So Tiny Dancers is going to have to peel off, deal with top, try and get 16 in the meantime. 16 is here. H2O doing a strange rotation, seeing what he can find. He sees nothing, but he's going to wait. He's patient. He's a patient cow. He's got some cud to chew on. Got to practice some guitar skills. He's just scouting around. Bruiser Camp coming out for Jailbait, having nothing better to do. And Bruiser Camp is up in 2 minutes for Tiny Dancers. They took it right before that objective. 5 men in bot for Tiny Dancers. That will give them 16 in time. But here comes the big rotation. Do you get in here? Do you find a gust? There's the sleep on the silver. But no, Tiny Dancers is going to get away. And they're going to head top to deal with that camp. So you either want to engage them or go ahead and get on the burn if you're Jailbait. Coffin getting stunned. And the damage is on the Immortal. So Jailbait getting a head start. The front line, and Falstad, just trying to delay Tiny Dancers clear here while Greymane gets them to halftime. Tiny Dancers needs to rotate in, make something happen here. It's almost here. I guess you want to win the fight more than you want to do something dumb. But Root comes out and ult onto Coffin. He's going to be fine. Gust, just some extra peel, and there's halftime. Just like that. Well played by Jailbait there. And now it's in a difficult place to defend. Wrong side of the map. But they get a stun, double stun, out on the Falstad, on the Kobo. The Ling Ming damage just a little too far behind. And there's the ult out, cutting Coffin off entirely. Elijah very low, though, and is going to fall. Tap came out for Kobo, so he's back in the fight. And the stun comes out on the ETC, manages to get away before. Ooh, but Kobo had a strange rotation, but a good E. He's got that extra distance on the E, getting him well out of there. And they're just in full-on defense. It's a 4v5, but if you peel off, you give Immortal. But if you don't peel off, you've got pressure in every lane. Coffin in on the back line, so Silver's up here by himself. Ming trying to get some poke in, but getting engaged on by Fragsteller. He gets netted. Guillotine comes out and finishes off that kill, so now it's 4-on-4. Big damage coming out on the H2O. Is he going to fall? The Gust is going to save him. Whew. Tiny Dancers almost turned that thing all the way around. And their Immortal's still alive, but just barely. So now 4-on-4 pushing in hard. Kobo getting some poke in on the back line. But these lanes have got to be answered eventually. It looks like Blaze is setting off just to do that. They got 25 seconds till Greymane's up. So all they got to do is prevent this Immortal from going down. And Blaze has got 20 seconds now to finish both these waves up so he can get to the team's defense. Ming trying to throw some poke damage onto this Immortal, but she's so low mana. So is Silver. They don't have the luxury of going back and... Oh, what a big double stun into double stun. Huge plays by Silver there. The Immortal stun coming out behind it. That's going to be a big kill on Mal'Ganis. H2O might drop as well. He will. So now it's 5v3. Materium going back, going to get full mana. She kind of has to. Silver heading back, maybe wanting to look for a tap, I think. And Anduin able to poke the rest of the Immortal down. But with 2 people dead, you know, well, we'll see. When they res, I don't know how long it's going to take for the Immortal to get up here. But if I'm Tiny Dancers, I'm there when it gets there. And I'm putting all my damage on this thing as quickly as I can. But it looks like Jailbait is going to say, all right, well, y'all are dealing with that. This keeps open from the push that was created while y'all defended. And we're going to take this keep. That's a smart decision. Smart decision to take. I mean, if they were up here, they'd just be dancing around, maybe dying. You got the rotation coming down now. It looks like Tiny Dancers is opting for kills. They've left Li Ming behind to try to deal with the Immortal, but that's going to take her a while. Silver finding the stun, but there's the ETC jump in. This is a 4v5. They really have to defend back at keep. I mean, they prefer to do it faster because this is pushing in hard. I mean, this will take keep as well. So they're in a tough position here. Looks like Feldross moving off to help Ming burn this thing. And now that you see 2 top, I imagine Jailbait's going to try and engage on these 2 tanks here. They're poking it down. There comes the root, the stun, another stun, all out onto Silver. He pops his ult, another stun. He's trying to get out. I think, he jumps in the bunker. He's very low. Does he have an E ready? No, he goes down. Big, here comes the Ming, though, with the huge counter kill. And then the Gust pushes him away. It wasn't enough to save Mal'Ganis, but a 1-for-1 trade. However, they did lose the top keep to Immortal. So, XP still about even. However, structure and lane pressure heavily in favor of Jailbait. And there's the Falstad fly. Now, they saw that. If you're Tiny Dancers, you try and find this guy? I think you do. And they're looking for him. But that E from Kobo saving him again. Now, Elijah taking a slide, but a big poke coming in. Big orb onto Frag Stellar. He's going to take a lot of damage. Anduin heals it right back up. So, a little bit of a antsy moment, but nothing crazy. Feldroth taking this top camp, looking for 20. Meanwhile, you've got Bruiser Camp coming out on the side of Jailbait, also looking for 20. Should arrive in roughly the same time. Both tanks coming up. Silver's on the way out. So is Cawthon. A little bit of dance around in the mid lane, if you can call it that. No man's land. And here comes the Immortal. It looks like we might have a fight on our hands for bottom siege. Everyone's here. Ming and Mal'Ganis lagging behind. Gets scouted by Elijah. And now it's started. So Cawthon coming in with the sleep. Gets pushed away by Lucio. Doesn't find anybody. Silver flanking. Gets rooted. Gets some damage or some stuns out onto Kobo. But there's the wind tunnel. And just so much CC constantly. Silver gets a nice Lucio shield. Good. Bunker comes out, prevents any deaths. All ults used on both sides except for Go for the throat. And another big fight over a siege camp there. No one dying. Big damage coming out onto Frag and Cawthon, but no one's going to die. There's the second orb coming in, just misses him, hits DB Smiley. Another orb comes in, hitting again, and DB Smiley might go down to the Ming here while Cawthon goes down in the front line. H2O trying to get away. Materium very low now herself. Hisself, I'm not sure. And that's a two for nothing. But they've got big pressure in top lane, and Blaze is heading back to deal with that. So while there's only 3 members of Jailbait still up, they can somewhat safely push in and get some damage on this Immortal. And we'll see how this lines up. I mean, Greymane's doing a lot of damage. So 31k to 22k going into halftime. Tiny Dancer's trying to push in, maybe find another kill before it's all over. It's in a awkward defense, good offense stage. They do have 1 Kata Encore, but Blaze has come back up and grouped. Frag, Stellar, Kobo doing what damage to this thing they can, knowing that all the damage on Tiny Dancer's side is on the Immortal. And they do a respectable amount. It's going to be about 1/4 to 1/3 HP shield on the Immortal. big pressure in bot or a big wave in bot. Just one half health impaler though. This little icon on the map's a little deceiving. You think there's a whole camp there, alas. Just one glorified ranged minion. So this is it. We'll see what Tiny Dancers can do here. It's a big opportunity for them. There are 5 people up on the side of Jailbait to defend this, however. All ults up on both sides, except for Disintegrate, having just been used. Big damage out on Feldroth, but that was actually partly his trait. Stuns, double stuns come out. H2O getting stunned by the Immortal, manages to get plucked out of there, certainly saving his life by Anduin. This Immortal's shield gone, now damage onto it itself. We still have Stage Dive up, still have Wind Tunnel up, and there's the jump in by Silver. And big stuns, there's nothing that can save him that time, and actually gusts them out of the Death Mosh. That is unfortunate. Huge damage coming on to Kobo. And the Immortal's almost dead, but one being down on Jailbait's side, I assume they're going to try and end here. And it looks like 94% on the core with the Immortal going down, Silver jumping in, popping his ult. And there's Guillotine on Coffin. He barely felt it, but the damage coming down on this Coffin needs to get in here. Try to create something. Elijah almost dead. He is going to not quite fall. He falls. Still, though, you've got Greyman going down, trying to push Feldroth off in the background. Ming's going down, but looks like Zul'jin's able to finish this off. And the tiebreaker goes over in a very close game to Tiny Dancers, who come away winning this series 2-1. A huge victory for them. They managed to stave off what was looking like a very, very, very close or near certain defeat with the amount of pressure they had against them. I'm going to reach out here and see if any of them want to speak. All right. That was pretty huge right there. Let's see what the reply is. All right. We're going to have somebody for the post game, so stick around if you want to hear that. Let's see if I can jump on over into Discord here. Pick a lobby. Casting lobby 2. All right. Hey there, Feldroth. Oh, it's going well, man. That was a very exciting game there. I mean,
yeah.
Good job pulling away the victory, but good Lord, was it close?
It was close. Yeah, definitely. They played really well.
They did, man. They did. I've got to say, we lost to them just yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, but their Jailbait's turning out to be quite a menacing team. What did y'all know about them coming into the game, and what was y'all's strategy just overall before any of this began?
I mean, we did a ton of research when we were looking at playing them, and so we had a good map strategy at least going in, which we executed all right. But the main thing was that we noticed in terms of like their picks and their ban phases and all that kind of stuff. And I guarantee, like I tell you right now, that was actually the hardest part about them, was they were really on point in the draft. So we did our research, but you could definitely tell they did theirs too. So it ended up being like tank locks every single match. Like the first one was like almost every tank in the game, and then the second one we were just like, all right, tanks are going to get locked. We got to pick these early.
Yeah.
It was really strong. Our main idea was that they always love going Murd and they love going ETC. So if we can get them off of one of those two and get them off a pick that onto a pick that they're a little less comfortable with, and maybe we can at least turn a little bit in our advantage and then adapt the rest of the way. But ended up being like, well, if we're going to let one of those tanks through, then let's pick a map where one of those tanks isn't good. So we're like, all right, well, we can get the Murden. They like picking the ETC. ETC is really not good, in our opinion, on Battlefield of Eternity. So we forced it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that's smart. That was a smart way to come back going into that game 3. I am curious why the constant Leoric bans.
So that was because of their our pre-scouting on them. So
Gotcha.
they have a great win rate on Leoric. Their solo lane win rate drops dramatically when they're not on Leo.
Okay.
So we were like, you know what, let's just not deal with it. Plus, a lot of our comps were really CC heavy. So we're like, we don't want to deal with someone who can just walk out and avoid ganks and rotations. So that was some thought process there.
Well,
Plus, they seem to be pretty reliant on the ETC, and we didn't want to give them any combos with a Entomb. So
I understand. And I have to say, y'all certainly did bring the CC in game 2. That was insane to watch a Medivh or a Medivh put a protect down and a portal, and y'all keep somebody CC'd from 100 to 0 all the way through a protect and all the way without even being able to click a portal. So, I mean, good job there.
Almost 3 seconds sometimes. Yeah. That was rough. That was a hard game, and it definitely was like what Volskaya is, which is it can be pretty snowbally, or at least once you establish a firm control, then you can play safe enough to let that control win you the game. But we were there was definitely a turning point. I was that Medivh was baffling us for a while, and then finally I was just like, well, I'm going to ignore everyone else, and if he's going to put his protect on the target of Kel'Thuzad, then I'm just going to blister him real quick. So and that ended up working out as it got later games. So
I remember explicitly a fight late in that Volskaya game where they portaled into y'all's bottom turret camp. And
yes, that was it.
And there was some pressure on you in the back line as Vala, but it wasn't. People were stepping up into you. The Medivh stepped up first, and you dropped him, and then the Sylvanas stepped up into you, and you dropped her. What was going on in the front side of that fight? I was so focused on you.
Well, I'm playing the Vala, so how do I know?
I don't know.
It was no. So the front line was basically just Johanna got to do whatever she wanted. It was Uther in the back line with me. So Uther was keeping me up, giving me a little bit of heals. I'd reached level 20, so I was attacking really fast. I was also getting heals on my auto attack, and I dropped a heal turret because I had the heal activatable. So I was literally giving myself all I could and just praying it was enough, and it turned out to be. So she's pretty sustainable if it's just a DPS versus DPS when it gets that late game. So
fair.
Yeah, it was good.
I do have a question about game 1 on Infernal Shrines. There was I think it was the second or level 16 objective y'all took in the top lane, and you guys took the fort there. It didn't have a wall, and then you all split off and just put 3 men in the top lane and kind of just let them clear it in front of the keep for free. What was the call to not try to take that keep there? What was the idea?
I'm trying to remember correctly, but I think our bottom fort was down. We had mid fort was down. The only one up was top, if that was even up at that point. So we had Katas pushing in mid and bottom, and we had camps pushing in one of those lanes, I think. So we're like, we can't take a fight here, because if you're looking at like the risk, we're like, all right, there's a chance we can defend this Immortal at keep. But if we go in now 16 and it's a shaky team fight and we die, then they have like all the lanes pushed up mid, bot, and then they get Immortal top. So then we lose 3 keeps instead of the potential 1. So at that point, with our lanes pushed up so far, I mean, they were playing exactly into what you do when you have those many fort advantages. And we were just stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is we take the fight, we potentially win, and we save everything, or we take the fight, we potentially lose. We lose all 3 keeps, perhaps the game. Let's just risk the 1 keep.
I understand.
And push this out a little bit. So
Yep. Well, you guys found yourself between a rock and a hard place then, and in Game 3. But in Game 3, y'all managed to claw your way back. So congratulations on the win, man. Do you have any
Thank you so
shout
much.
outs for anybody? Anything you want to say before we're done here?
Absolutely. Shout outs first and foremost to our team. We've put in a lot of hours together over the course of this season, and we're gelling really well, and we're doing great. So I'm always proud of us for that, and thankful for all of them. Shout out to you for casting. We appreciate it.
Of course.
We always love casters, and shout out to all our families for letting us have the time here to do this thing. So we're glad to do it. It's a lot of fun. So.
All right. Well, we'll see you later on in the playoffs there, Feldroth. Well done on your win.
Sounds good. Nice talking to you again, Mudge.
See ya. All right, that's going to be it, everybody. I will catch you guys next time. And have a good night.